Welcome to a series of interviews that I'm going to do with various teams and team members of local teams in our area. And the area I'm speaking about is the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton area of Pennsylvania. I am going to try to interview the squad leaders, squad XOs if they have them, and any teammates that want to interview. It's going to be the same set of questions asked to each particular person, and eventually we will have some roundtable discussions. Touch on some basic information and some opinions. I hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully we're not too long-winded, and you got to remember that these are our opinions that you have on this video, and they pertain to our observations, our thoughts concerning airsoft in our Northeast Pennsylvania area and surrounding areas dealing with airsoft. Hope you enjoy the videos. Okay, first we're going to start off with some basic questions. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell the viewers about yourself, your basic loadout, your play style, and about your team.
Sure. My name is Rob, call sign Cognac. I usually run the support role. M27 and the M249 SAR are my preferred weapons. Team is the Nepa WolfPack. We started about 2 years ago now. We have about 15 active members at the moment. That fluctuates from time to time, as keeper's well aware of how that goes. But they're a great group of guys, and I'm lucky to have them.
Okay, next question I'm going to ask is why and how did you get into the hobby of airsoft?
I love real firearms is what got me into airsoft. I got into them years ago, and with airsoft you can do more. You can train in different ways and have a lot more fun safely rather than what you can do with real steel because of the obvious problems you can have with that. It's a great stress reliever for me, real steel and airsoft. And again, I make a lot of friends with airsoft, and I'm definitely happy to have met people like yourself and your team, and it definitely makes it more fun when you meet people like that. I needed something else to spend money on, I guess I should say, and that's really what drew me kind of towards that. You know, there's many hobbies you can have that you can drain a lot of money on, but this one, it's good, clean fun, and it's hard to find a community of like-minded people like that you can get along with. And with airsoft, I really think that's something that you should look forward to.
Okay, next question. What is the most important thing you take away from playing this hobby of airsoft?
I would have to say new friends. I have made so many new friends in the past 2 years. I can't even count. Your team, for example, and all the people that comprise my team now, only 2 or 3 of them I knew before I started playing airsoft. So that right there, within the space of 2 years, making 20 or 30 new friends, especially when you're out of high school and past the college age, that's not an easy thing to do. So that's a big thing for me, is meeting great people that I enjoy having this great hobby with.
Okay, next question I'm going to ask is, what would be your advice for new players thinking about getting into this hobby for the first time? What would be what you would say to them?
Well, the first piece and the biggest would be ask tons of questions. Just like any other hobby, it's easy to break things, damage them, misuse them, or do things wrong if you're not exactly sure what you're doing. And this equipment that we use, especially the replicas themselves, are very expensive usually and very prone to breaking down. So you don't want to waste your money, and you also want to be able to do things right. Most of the people that you'll meet, at least that I've met, are extremely helpful and are more than willing to answer your questions. The other thing I would definitely say is don't be afraid to get hit, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen time and time again, and sometimes that's just the way the game goes. Some of them will be a little hard, but most won't. You'll live 1,000 times, so don't be afraid to die 1,000 either.
Okay, these next questions are going to be opinion questions. Okay, we're going to start off with the first question. Sorry for the wind if it's picking it up in the mic. What is the most damaging thing happening in airsoft right now And what aspect of the hobby would you like to see change?
Well, first off, the most damaging thing I think I could say right now would be the brandishing of replicas in public. There's been a lot of issues with that, and a lot of major cities, including parts of Maryland, I believe Baltimore might be one of them, have banned airsoft in the city limits completely because of things like this, or at least so they say, but that definitely doesn't help. And people making dumb decisions like that reflects badly on all of us. And this hobby we have to look at the fact that we use toys that look like real weapons sometimes. Especially, I don't know about everyone else, but myself, I try to make mine look as real as possible. That means removing the orange tip, putting attachments on it that really make it look and feel like the real deal, and that comes with inherent risks. So that is something that can be very damaging. So always having your replica in a case or a bag anywhere you're taking it is for the best. All right, and so for the aspect I'd like to see change, or other things I'd like to see in the game, more props and tech used in the games. Last year I was at a Milsim event, and they had a free app that they used that would give you certain aspects of the game, like the score, who held what objective, and everyone was able to have this app on them at all times, including the commanders, so you can get real-time updates on what's going on during the game. Those kind of things give it more of a realistic feel, give you more in depth of the game, and it's nice to really see that. This year I was at a game. They had a new prop that the production owner built. It was a downed satellite. There was timers on the satellite, and you would get bonus points by having your timer running on that satellite. Things like that add more immersion to the game, and it's nice to see things like that. It keeps us all more involved and changes the pace from just the usual capture the flag or team deathmatch.
Next question that I have on here is, do you own or use an HPA replica?
Yes, I own two at the moment, hopefully more soon. One is an M27 infantry assault rifle. That is absolutely my favorite. I love the feel of it, the function, and my second weapon, which I just acquired a few months ago, is an M249 SAW with a Polaris RF1, one of the newer systems. It definitely performs very nicely on the field, and there's just a certain advantage to not having the mechanical breakdowns and worry of that.
Do you think players with HPA powered replicas have an unfair advantage over normal airsoft players, like using an AEG or a spring replica?
I absolutely believe there is an advantage. I don't believe it's unfair though, but definitely an advantage. The three main advantages I usually see are shot consistency, dependability, and the ability to fine-tune your FPS on the fly, which, as you know, with most weapons that's not usually possible to do that. It would take a lot of usually a lot of work to get that done. Those advantages are usually mechanical, and they don't give you anything you can't already get with an AEG or most times a spring replica if you do the proper work that's required to get it to that point. The HPA is what some people like to call easy mode, is what I've heard before. So you get all the results without having to spend the hundreds if not $1,000s to get an AEG to that point, and all the trial and error. So I'd say it's an advantage, but not unfair.
One thing to clarify for our video people looking at it before they jump on it, when he said adjust FPS, you mean based on the FPS limit of the field?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and then locked out with a tournament lock and things like that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just want to clarify that for the video people out there so they don't jump on it.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, Rob, do you feel we need to have any new restrictions put in place for HPA replicas on the airsoft field?
Well, in our area there isn't a lot of restrictions already. It's pretty open game, and I think that's actually a problem. I've even seen it myself. I think we should definitely have tournament locks at every game, even in open play. Most systems come with them already, and tanks, so it's not like they're expensive, and even if they don't, only about $10 or $15. The other is chronoing and Joels. As you know, they very rarely do that, and chronoing with a 2.5 or a 2.0 weight BB, when I in my HPA would be using a 2.8 or 3.0, maybe even a 3.2, can lead to a big increase in power if they're only chronoing with the 2.0s or 2.5s. So those are two things that should definitely happen. The people that use the Joel's the Joel creep to their advantage are one of the reasons HP owners get a bad rap. We have the ability to fine-tune things very easily, and some people take advantage of that for a bad reason. But with a tournament lock in place and checked before the match begins, that would no longer be a problem. So a few other things I see are issues are rate of fire limits and paintball finger. The rate of fire at most fields I've seen in the area here in Pennsylvania anyway is 20 to 25 rounds per second. That is more than enough in my opinion, and I don't see a reason for more. It's a novelty to be able to shoot at 40, 50 rounds a second, and it looks funny when you do it, but on the actual field itself, imagine being the person to get hit with 50 rounds in just a split second. Even if only half the rounds hit you, 25 rounds in just a second is a lot. And you know, if you took that in the soft skin, or God forbid the head or somewhere the temple, something like that, it can actually lead to some damage. And it's just a little much. So most fields should have those rate of fire limits. Most fields in this area do, but the ones that don't should seriously consider that. Then paintball finger. When we play airsoft, this hobby, we try to be immersed in it. At least most people I know. That's why you do it, to get away from your everyday life, and you want to just only be there, not in the real world. So when you see people coming around the corner shooting like this with their fingers, it doesn't exactly look right. It looks a little funny. Not to mention, it's just not the way it's done. You're trying to get the real look and feel of these replicas. So you want to use them the way they should be used. And we're playing airsoft, not paintball.
Okay, and last question. Certain states have adopted more strict controls over airsoft replicas. Your opinion on these controls that are put in place by states at this time. Also, do you feel this is the start of even more stricter controls at the state level? And will more states adopt these type of stricter controls in the U.S.? Your opinion?
Well, as for the controls, most countries that have airsoft already have a lot tighter restrictions than we have here. It seems we've been extremely lucky so far with FPS requirements down to safety regulations for your weapon, the orange tips. Here in Pennsylvania, you are not required to have that orange tip. There is no law against it. It will make it look like a real firearm, so obviously you should not brandish it in public, but you will not be hauled off of jail. Now in a state like either California, New York, New Jersey, I believe even maybe Connecticut, you're required to have that orange tip, even maybe some other safety requirements on that weapon, like the orange band on the magazines, or else you can face fines, or, as in New Jersey's cases I know as a fact, you will face firearms charges for not having that on there. It'll be treated as a real firearm. And obviously you don't want to have a criminal record, especially a felony like that, over a hobby. So that is very scary when you see some of those regulations come into play. And it'd be very easy to not be aware of that law because it is considered a toy to most of us. So you don't consider it a firearm because it's usually made of plastic and some metal, and it's not a deadly weapon. When treated like that in the law, it makes it a little shaky on why you might want to continue playing that hobby if your freedom may be at risk. Also, why would parents want their kids to start playing this hobby and allow it if there's potential for them to be breaking the law? For more restrictions, I believe there's definitely going to be more. Even in the past few years, with certain cities banning airsoft completely, and as there's more regulation put on real firearms themselves, airsoft will probably follow suit because they look so real. A paintball gun, at least one that's not mag-fed, does not look anything like a real firearm and will probably never face those regulations. An airsoft replica, because of the way it looks and because of people using them for illegal purposes, they will probably end up facing the same regulations that real firearms do.